What could be better than snuggle time with your guinea pigs? After all, they are such cute little potato-shaped bundles of joy. So this video is all about the basics of taming, how it varies between individual guinea pigs, learning how to progress to handling your piggies, and my super useful advice for lap time so you can get close and cuddly with your piggies. And first up, I want to show you, or try and show you, how every pig is different and unique. So take Minnie here, for instance. Minnie, I had it all set up and you just walked off. You're still going to be my first victim. You can't get away that easily. Minnie is less than a year old, but she is remarkably tame. Minnie's soft spot is her nosy. She loves a tickle on her nosy. And she'll also do a lovely big rumble to let us know that she likes that. From one extreme to the other, what happens when I try and stroke Phoebe, who is my 5-year-old ginger Abyssinian piggy? Hi, Phoebe. Yeah? No. Oh no. Phoebe in general has never been one for being touched or being stroked when she's in the cage. She's very independent, she doesn't like to be interrupted, she likes to be left to her own devices. Okay, our next example is Callie. The thing with Callie is she does like to be stroked, but very much on her own terms. And she doesn't like to be stroked if she's moving from one place to the other in the cage, or she's busy eating or busy doing something. She absolutely loves to be stroked, however, if she's relaxing in a bed. So it can depend on what your guinea pig is doing in the moment, whether they enjoy your attention or not. Nacho is a male guinea pig. He's a boar, which means he's naturally more confident than his female cage mates. Nacho is neutered, by the way, for anyone wondering. Nacho's looking the other way, which I know would not work with any of my girls. However, it's Nacho, so we're gonna stroke him. Aww. Nacho absolutely loves being pet and stroked in the cage, which is very common for males. They do tend to be more tame both in and out of the cage, so it's something to consider if you're a nervous new owner, perhaps you've never owned guinea pigs before, or maybe you're getting guinea pigs with your child and looking after them together. And especially in that first year or so, you might feel like you're getting more appreciation and love from your male guinea pig versus females. And also, although Phoebe is clearly an exception, piggies do mellow more as they get older, so it's very, very normal for young guinea pigs to be super skittish, and perhaps you might even get disheartened because you feel like they don't want to be around you, they're constantly running away, and that translates into not wanting to take them out of the cage for cuddles as well. Last but not least, over here we have Penelope, and she is a bit of a mix. She will happily let me stroke her when she's in a relatively relaxed mode. She's just in here chewing on hay. However, if she was moving about in the middle of the cage and I just reached at her and tried to give her a stroke, then she would probably run off. And then, once they're more settled in, you can start to work on handling and taking them out of the cage for cuddle time. And when you get to that stage, firstly, my advice is to not be disheartened if they run away. Understand that it is their natural instinct, and that natural instinct is incredibly powerful because they are prey animals. And you are a predator-sized and shaped animal with big grabbing hands that kind of resemble talons. It's only natural that they are going to run away, especially if you take them by surprise. So one thing I always try and do with my piggies is make sure they are aware of my presence before I go in to stroke them or before I go on to pick them up. Another tip is something you might have seen on social media as one of those well-known guinea pig hacks, and it's to use a bed or a cozy sack or something that you can encourage them into and then scoop up the whole thing with them inside. However, some guinea pigs can and do get wise to this, so that's why I would still recommend practicing and learning to pick them up confidently with your bare hands. And just like with stroking them in the cage, this varies from guinea pig to guinea pig how easy it is. Some pigs like Nacho here, I can scoop up super easy and make it look like he didn't even react. But most piggies will run away, so the trick is to get them into part of the cage where you can block off their escape routes and get to them easily. And I will be honest, a lot of this does come down to confidence and experience, and whilst we want to avoid too much chasing them round and making it seem like a bad experience for them, at the same time, practice is really important, so it's all about finding a balance. I will also link down in the description a video that is solely focused on picking up and handling your guinea pig, so do check that one out if you're new to things. Once you are able to take your guinea pig safely out the cage, you can progress to cuddles and lap time. And obviously this doesn't need much preparation. You can just sit down in the nearest chair and cuddle them for 5 or 10 minutes. But they might not necessarily be that comfortable. Some pigs like being held up high on your chest, others prefer it sat on your lap. And either way, it can be hard for them to lie down and relax when they've got their legs slipping all over the place and going in between your legs. So most of the time I use a blanket with my piggies. I'll put it down on my lap so they've got a solid base to sit on and chill. Next problem. Guinea pigs only have small bladders, and it's only a matter of time before you run into some sort of toileting problem, which usually ends up cutting lap time short before you've felt like you've properly spent any time with them. So the way I get around this, especially if I'm watching TV or a film, is I will use a box lined with newspaper. I'll bring the guinea pigs downstairs in that box and keep it by the side of me, and that way I can pop them in the box if they need a toilet break or they just want to munch on some hay, and I can just take them back out of the box onto the sofa with me when they're ready. The box technique works no matter how many guinea pigs you have, but it is especially useful if you're taking multiple guinea pigs out of the cage for lap time. So with 5 of them, as you can imagine, it can turn into complete chaos when everyone needs a toilet at the same time. And it's also a good way to just make sure everybody is happy, and eventually after 15-20 minutes we will reach a stage where all 5 guinea pigs are quite happily snoozing with me on the sofa. And no, they're not all on my lap. So what I'll do is I'll take a waterproof pad down with me, put it on the seat next to me, and then some of the guinea pigs can chill out on that while I cuddle the others. And I do find some don't like to be sat on me, they just like to be away doing their own thing, snuggled in a blanket, asleep on the sofa. And when you have your guinea pigs out for lap time, you will find whether they are a chiller pig who likes to just curl up in a ball and go to sleep, or whether they're more energetic and they'll probably be trying to get back in the box, or trying to crawl over you, or trying to launch themselves off the side of the sofa. But whichever type you have, if you are consistent and you do lap time on a regular basis, then eventually they will become more mellow and more chilled, and they will start falling asleep on you. It's just that they've got to get into the routine and accept that's what happens. Then when it's time to go back in the cage, I bundle them all back in the box, take them back upstairs, so it's an easy way to transport multiple guinea pigs as well. We are back with Nacho. He's behaving very well, so hopefully he will put up with some questions. And one of the most common ones I get asked is, when is a good time to start lap time? So say you've just got a pair of new baby guinea pigs, they will take a good few weeks to settle in, and during that time you can start with taming them in the cage, start hand feeding them, stroking them in the cage, and sort of progressively work up to handling them and taking them out of the cage. Nacho is not a happy bum. And after a couple of weeks, you might start doing short lap time sessions with a blanket, and if they're doing well, then you can try the box and taking them out of the cage for a bit longer. Piggies will get used to sounds of the TV and music. Just try to start with something a bit more chill. Don't go all in with the crazy loud action movies. And you can take it slow with lap time. Don't rush things. A few times a week is enough to make it a routine for them. So another question I get asked a lot is whether it's okay to just take one piggy out the cage and leave the other on its own. And yes, this is okay for short sessions, but if you want to do lap time over a longer session, maybe with the box like I showed, then it would just make sense for you to get both guinea pigs out at the same time. Or however many you have, although obviously it gets harder to manage them all if you've got a lot, so you could do them in small groups instead. And if you have any more questions on lap time with your piggies, just pop them in the comments below below and I will do my best to get back to you. I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and found it useful as well. Lap time can be super relaxing for both you and your piggies, so definitely give it a go if you haven't already. As always, thanks so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!